morning, man. Thank you for coming in.
Thanks for having me, man.
So, in a couple of words, could you please explain how have you ended up here? So you played professionally?
Yeah.
In D1, right?
D2.
D2.
High level D2 though.
High level D2, okay.
That matters.
That matters.
Yeah.
It counts.
Yeah, so my name is Gustavs Mellenbergs, formerly Buchhaus. I played D2 in Angelo State in the United States. It was pretty solid though. Like the high level D2s are, as I would say, even better than some mid-major D1s. But I mean, that's kind of a subjective opinion of me. But yeah, after 4 years of college, went to Italy to play 1 year professionally there. I broke my foot my senior year in the United States, and the rehab process, the surgery was kind of iffy, questionable looking back, because I had the education that I got in the United States. I was kind of determined to become a physical therapist and try to help young people and athletes and regular people to kind of not deal with the same things I dealt with, and kind of help them along the way to becoming professional athletes and just live a healthy life, you know. Yeah. So that's when you invited me.
Yeah, that's basically why he's here, and yeah, we could say you haven't got too far from basketball.
No, not at all. Yeah, I still stay around basketball, play some 3-on-3 every now and then, and I also work with young kids. I'm a strength and conditioning coach as well, and work with the youth basketball system here in Latvia.
So let's get straight to the questions then.
All right.
For example, would you agree with me if I would say that kids these days lack work ethic?
I mean, I thought about this.
Not all of them, of course, but
yeah,
like majority.
Obviously, it depends. I don't know, like the previous job I had as a strength and conditioning coach, at the start of practice, I used to just straight up ask the group I had in front of me, like, who wants to achieve anything today, or even like in the long term, who wants to really like do this?
Yeah. And
kids used to be like, they have like these numb looks on their face, and some of them would be like,
yeah, like I really want this.
That's when I kind of, separated the single group into like 2 or 3 groups and actually worked with kids differently. Because what's the point of me like really forcing someone to do something that's not going to benefit them at all? For example, if their parents told them to come to practice and it's not their own initiative, like there's no point of me like trying to force work ethic onto them or anything like that. So obviously it depends, but also on the same level, kids have it better these days. Like, I don't know, like when we were growing up like 10, 20, 30 years ago, we didn't have the tools that kids have these days, so they kind of know what to do now. When I was like growing up, I was 15, 16 years old. I used to go to school gyms at 7 a.m. and I used to just, my best drill was just making 100 threes before I went to class. And looking back, like obviously it's not the most like detailed drill of all time. Maybe I could have used somebody to tell me what to do, or you could have used like Instagram back then to see drills, see what Chris Brickley's doing, or the popular trainers you get to see these days. But I think the kids who really want it have it better, and they're able to apply those things better than we could. So in a way, work ethic is better these days, but it just depends on how you use it or if you really want it. So that's my point of view about that.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I agree with almost everything.
Yeah.
With all of it, but I would say that I do feel from kids these days that, as we talked previously, attention span is so small. It's crazy. So even if
it's nuts, man.
It's crazy. Even when you get all this information,
yeah,
they're still struggling to use it because they're looking straight away to the next thing. For example, the practice ends. Yeah. He's not thinking about recovery or stretching, but he's already thinking about Fortnite of Call of Duty.
Welcome to the Gulag.
Yeah.
And that's what I feel a lot.
Yeah. So I used to make like these home workout programs that, if I meet with the group once a week, that's like an hour a week, and I'm a strength and conditioning coach. Like, how am I supposed to get results? I make home workouts. Like, I create programs to do 2-3 times a week, and then I come back weeks later, I'm like, who did anything? And like 2 people raised their hands. I'm like, all right, yeah, this is not worth it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so really, the attention span, I mean, you can explain an exercise and be thinking that everybody understood it, like from the get-go, and then you end up like explaining it 5 more times just because like their attention span is just 5 seconds and that's it. Like they don't pay attention to detail like we used to.
From this perspective, your 100 trees before school doesn't sound that bad.
No, yeah, I mean it took patience for sure. Yeah.
So it's still work. Continuing about kids, for you as a strength and conditioning coach and a physiotherapist, would you say kids these days are lazy on recovery, on thinking about their preparation and nutrition and things like that?
I would definitely say so. I think just the overall physical condition of the youth overall is way worse these days. Just like the exposure to the cell phones, the gaming and everything. Like obviously we had it too, and to a certain point, like we're now boomers, you know. we dealt with the same things, but I think it's overly like crazy now. So I get like kids come in my physical therapy practice like 14, 13, 12, even younger years old and have like back issues that are supposed to happen when you're like 60. Like for example, like we used to just, you know, go outside all day, like hang out, maybe not even us, like our parents and stuff. Like we used to play video games as well, but like we used to like just do physical activity throughout the day.
In the middle.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle. But like for example, we had like camp, like a day camp, and we had a morning practice and the afternoon practice. And before practices, we used to come to my house, like my team. We used to just shoot hoops, dunk, and just jump around. Like that was our physical activity. Like, but now after practice, they just run home, like play some video games, like do their little Snapchat thing or whatever, and kind of like the middle ground between practices is completely lost. Like they don't pay attention to what they eat, how they sit, how they sleep, how much they're drinking water, and that sort of stuff. So I definitely think overall, like the level of physical conditioning is going completely down.
Unfortunately, I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
And one of my questions I wanted to ask you already almost answered, but still. So you would say you agree that social media has caught kids up and kids are struggling to use it in a proper way. They're abusing it, let's say.
Oh my God, did you see The Social Dilemma on Netflix?
Not yet, but I have heard the good things. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it's kind of a big thing right now going, but it completely exposes like the algorithms of social media. So at a certain point, you can't even blame the kids because it's like a drug, you know, like the algorithm on
it's
those
made that way.
Applications, it just sucks you in, and I'm a victim of that as well. Like I have a 30-minute limit on my social media apps a day, so I don't like sit on my phone and do nothing with that. But although I'm a influencer in a way as well, but like I had a kid who was I was working with him like 2 times once a week. We were doing strength and conditioning individually, and I asked him one time to show me his screen time, and the thing said like 7 or 8 hours a week, like a day.
Crazy. It's a crazy amount.
So I'm telling him like, okay, you're awake 15 hours, 17 hours a day, depending on what your sleeping habits are. And you're telling me half of that time you're just looking at your phone like this. I mean, I can't help you. Like we can do this hour of work and then you're gonna go back home and just sit on your phone like this all day. Like,
yeah,
I mean,
it's crazy.
What I can provide you is much less than you can provide yourself by just not sitting on the social media app all day.
And the worst thing about this, I think, is with that big screen time, the biggest or majority part of it comes late in the night, and that's even worse because your body cannot rest. You're not ready to go to sleep. You have this all blue light
exposure. I mean, scientifically speaking, like the cortisol levels, cortisol or the stress hormone levels are way out of whack. You feel like you fell asleep easier by going to sleep like at 2 or 3 a.m., but the quality of sleep, your recovery is just completely terrible. And studies have shown if you don't get at least 8 hours of sleep, you're like 60% more susceptible to getting injury if you're an athlete. So, I mean, do the math. I mean, it's not worth it.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Some basic, really practical and overall conditioning good exercises.
Oh
like
man.
Top 3, man. Let's let the easiest ones you could do to prevent, for example, yourself from these non-necessary injuries.
That's a good question. I almost feel like I should have prepared for this, but I mean, just the basics. I mean, think about just doing everything bilaterally, which means on both sides. so it's going to be way better for your health. Try to analyze your like patterns of movement. So if you way more comfortable like doing right to left crossover, try to really work on that left to right as well. So that way your biomechanics, your whole range of motion in your body is going to develop, even the sides of your brain, the way you see the game, the way you feel the game. Like those small little details can really help out a lot. So if you're only a left foot jumper or both foot jumper, like to really try to work on that right as well. And as far as conditioning, I used to hate like preseason conditioning in the United States. Like
a lot of running, right?
They legitimately try to kill us. Like it wasn't even like functional. If somebody didn't throw up, like it was considered not a good practice.
He's lazy if he isn't.
Yeah. So I'm not about that. I think you should be in shape all the time. So once you get into a playing shape, the best exercise is not to get out of shape. You know, it's way easier. You'll never have to like do conditioning drills. So when the season's over, just don't take 2 weeks. Don't even take a week off. Maybe like mentally, like if you don't want to play basketball, just go play soccer or go play beach volleyball or something. Like never get out of shape. That's the best conditioning drill to me.
So it's a good tip. Would you agree that kids these days are under more pressure because of social media around it?
Certainly, yeah. I think basketball becomes a lot less fun a lot earlier. Some of the years playing basketball were like really crappy to me. Like I love basketball to the core of myself, like of me. But some of the years I didn't enjoy playing basketball at all. Like because of the playing time, because of the coaching, because of the teammates, the team, whatever. But I think social media accelerates that so much quicker, and like you get so unsettled with your position or your situation, and just seeing like when you just like with life, you see someone on Instagram doing much better than you, and you just get so jealous, and like it makes a visceral negative kind of reaction in your body. And I think for sure like social media puts a lot more pressure on you, just getting caught up in the BS, like watching Steph Curry thinking you can like shoot like 40 foot jumpers, like that sort of stuff, and just thinking that everything comes easier and that you're entitled to doing something you haven't worked on. I feel like is the biggest problem.
Yeah, 100% agreeing with you once again.
Yeah.
Because
Do you think there's some benefits to social media though?
I do believe, but in very rare cases, let's say.
Yeah.
Only if you really, as you said, if you use wisely your screen time.
Yeah.
And you can fill up your free or rest of the time with good activities, not just endless screening. If you check, for example, good practice drills and things like that, or read something about health or your conditioning, then it's awesome. Of course, you can do that playing part with Snapchat, Instagram, or anything like that, but you have to put limits on that really early.
Yeah.
Because mental health these days, speaking about kids, it's crazy. If we check like suicide levels and anxiety levels,
oh man,
it's mind-blowing how tough it's getting for kids. If
it really affects them really badly, yeah, for sure.
I really like that NBA players have started to talk about it.
Yeah.
And what's interesting for me, I work with older people and younger people as well, and the older people are skeptical about it because they don't understand how the kids is probably feeling.
Yeah.
They're tough. They like think that you shouldn't talk about things like that. It's easy, like it's all in your head. But they didn't have Instagram when they have 8 years old.
They already built that base, that self-confidence. Like it doesn't matter what other people think, Like they didn't show their whole life on the platter to everybody, and they kind of like kept to themselves. I mean, to a certain degree as well. Like we used to do different outlets than Instagram back in the day, but they've grown a thicker skin, and like these days it's much harder to do that. I think it takes more courage to not be on Instagram than to be on Instagram, for sure. Yeah, because people are gonna think you're an outcast. Like
why aren't you on Instagram?
I mean, you're missing out. The fear of missing out. Like people are always talking about what they've seen and the latest TikTok or whatever, and you're like socially irrelevant. You become socially irrelevant. You're not up to date, and unless you're like really focused on, you know, working out, reading books, and like making yourself better, you kind of like you're missing out on that. I think young kids are afraid of that these days.
Yeah. We're talking about all this bad part, but actually there is a lot of good stuff happening as well from other cases. But you need to be practical and you need to understand yourself.
No, for sure, and that can help you just to get exposure. Like for me as well, like I didn't use Instagram, but I used YouTube to kind of get exposure and get to the United States. I created my own highlight tape and I just sent it out to schools and used YouTube as a platform to get a scholarship and get an education for free. So yeah, be practical about it. Yeah, basketball is such a good teacher. The work ethic it teaches you, unbelievable. So if you can apply it to any other like thing in life, you're already going to be way ahead of everybody else. The stuff you go through playing basketball, if you started at a young age and just kind of work yourself through the youth sports school and just do like individual training and all that, like you're gonna get mentally tough, and even if basketball doesn't pan out, you'll be good. You'll be all right. Yeah.
Good example for example for you.
Yeah.
You went to States and got a free education, right?
Yeah.
Because of basketball.
Yeah, and then even though basketball ended abruptly for me, like I was able to start doing other things immediately.
Okay, practical questions aside, what's the best player you have ever played with? In States here?
Oh man.
Do you have some on your list?
I mean, yeah, growing up, like Andres was my like teammate growing up. Not teammate, he was a year younger, but like we used to like
Same sports school,
train together and that sort of stuff. He wasn't as good as he is today.
Dangerous pass. Pasasniks has it now. Advantage. Pasasniks to the hoop. Puts it in and the foul.
I would like to play in one-on-one. I still think I can hold my own. KP, Porzingis.
Fan. Not just of these two teams. I'm just a basketball fan. And here to take in the show. Porzingis.
Before the big growth spurt, like he was like 2 meters, I think, when I last like played with him. We were in a youth camp together around 16 years old. He wasn't that great as he is now. Like I'm sure now he would just like completely obliterate me.
He's crazy in this offseason especially.
Yeah, but back in the day, I used to give him work.
Okay.
So I guess Porzingis is the answer. But I mean, I played against some dudes, man, in the States. Like I have a funny story about one guy, like all the world's talent, and then he used to like pull up like deeper than Steph Curry in practices.
Yeah.
Like deeper than Steph Curry. I'm telling you, like crossing the half-court line, just pulling up. And he had a big marijuana problem.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why he was playing D2, and he wasn't getting the big schools that like Kentucky's and Duke's and that sort of stuff. He's an NBA talent for sure. He's not even playing anymore. He signed a pro contract in Kazakhstan. He went there, dropped 55 points, and they sent him home the next day because he was just like high all the time. And he's probably like the second best player I've ever played against. So I have like funny stories about that sort of stuff. So,
yeah. Awesome.
But I used to give Porzingis some work, man. I'm talking about.
Hopefully KP sees this.
Hopefully. Send him this. Let's get him on here. I wish he remembered.
We'll try to slide in his DM.
Yeah. I mean, good luck with that.
Yeah, man. I appreciate you being here. This will be good for the first time. We're sitting down.
Yeah, for sure, man. I really appreciate this. This was fun. Yeah.
Thank you, man.
All
Thank
right.
you a million.
All
Hopefully we see you soon. Stay healthy, guys.
Yeah, thanks for watching.
Subscribe, like, do all the good things. And yeah, we see you soon. Bye.